So I've worked a lot with S&D extracts, and this year they're featuring the coffee extract and the green tea extract. The coffee extract is sort of like a syrup, but an unsweetened syrup. It's a really intense, very intense coffee flavor. So it's a fine balance to use it in either baking or savory dishes that the judges want to detect the coffee flavor, but they don't want to be knocked in the head with it. And so one way to do that is to do layers of flavor. And that's just generally in cooking. I mean, that's the way, I've always talked about that in the writing that I've done, and I'm on TV quite often, and I talk about that, just, do lots of layers of flavor. It's not just linear. You don't just season at the end or under season. It's delicate, it's a light hand, but lots and lots of layers. Think of like a puff pastry, tons of layers. But anyway, the coffee extract is super easy to use in sauces to incorporate. It would be, we were just talking, you could even, I haven't played with this, but you could even, I would imagine, make a sort of pasta with this, the addition of the coffee extract. There's a ton of ways to use it. In baking, you could use it in the cake, you can use it then in the frosting to go on top, with a light hand, just 2 ways of using it. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make a coffee bourbon barbecue sauce. And another thing that the judges look for that it will not detract from your recipe, but it will make people remember it, is if the name is either appealing in some way, if it's either cute or if it has really trendy ingredients. So bourbon is a big trend in drinks right now. Coffee is always, of course, S&D Coffee, they love to see the word coffee in the name of your recipe. So it's just something to think about. Be mindful of the name of the recipe that you choose. Like I say, it doesn't take away, but it keeps you fresh in the judges' minds if it's really cute. So in this bourbon barbecue sauce, we only need about 2 teaspoons of the extract. I'm going to put in this pan because it's a little bit warm and I don't want it to heat up too much. I'm going to put in a cup of ketchup. So this is this sauce could go on pork, and if I were going to do this, if I was going to present this, I've made it with turkey today, but if you wanted to do it with pork or whatever kind of meat you'd want to use, if you did a dry rub with coffee grounds and then did a sauce with the coffee, it's another layer, and the judges always like to see that you've used their product, and if you've used it in a couple of ways, that'd be great. So there's 2 teaspoons of the coffee extract. What else? Oh, soy sauce. What do I have? I have about a half cup of soy sauce. And the combination of soy and ketchup, it brings it sort of into the Asian side, but really it's more for an umami. If you all know I'm sure you are familiar with the umami, the term umami. And I mean, soy sauce is a tremendous component in umami. And then a little bit of fish sauce. I don't know if you all cook with fish sauce, but I find it indispensable. I'll use it all the time. Let's see, what goes in this? Oh, bourbon, duh. Okay. And of course, I'll add the bourbon off the flame so it doesn't explode. And then brown sugar. And so the great thing about this is I didn't add onion or garlic, so it doesn't have to be pureed in any way. You don't have to use an immersion blender or anything. And you could use dark brown sugar or light brown sugar. You could use molasses if you wanted to. And then if you wanted to put in a little bit of like an apple cider vinegar, something like that to get some tang. And then I just let that simmer for about 20 minutes. And I've got some already made up. And it's just this beautiful mahogany color. And then I'm going to saute. Because I did the turkey ahead of time, I'm going to saute some right now. And we have samples, if anyone's hungry. So because I'm using turkey rather than pork, I use turkey thigh because it's got more fat in it than a turkey breast. And this I just cooked in the slow cooker. Braised it, did a really nice gentle braise all day in chicken broth. And I put a tiny, tiny bit of liquid smoke, which is a natural product, just to mimic a barbecue. Turn that up a little bit. There we go. I love using turkey thigh in place of pork. I try not to eat too much pork, and turkey thigh really can replace that nicely. Let's see, some other, okay. So as far as if developing the recipe, if you're going to enter, first of all, I mean, why wouldn't you enter? Like, it's $5,000. It's crazy. It's such a generous gift from S&D, but just make sure you actually develop this recipe yourself and that you test it a lot. We've had a couple times where students will come out and they'll make it through to like the semifinals, and when they cook it, it doesn't turn out, and it seems pretty obvious it's because they hadn't tested it several times, at least 3 times. That's really important. Also, the photography, if you decide to enter, it needs to have a picture with it, and it can't be a picture that like you pull off the internet. We know, the judges, when we read through them, we know which pictures are actually taken and which pictures have been taken from the internet. So just don't chance it, because you don't want to be disqualified for something as simple as that. I mean, take it on your phone if you have to. That's not a problem. And just test as much as you can. Okay, I'm going to turn. Oh, did we have the things, the little sample cups? Oh, also, the theme of this year's contest is Carolina Cookin'. Make sure you keep it within that theme. You know, that it really has something to do, I mean, it can be a loose affiliation, but it has something to do with Carolina food from here, something the North or South Carolina is known for. That's really important. You know, you don't want to have this amazing dish for duck à l'orange and it has nothing to do with North or South Carolina. But anyway, so this, I would just simmer this away for 20 minutes until it gets thickened and kind of uniform, and then it's done. And of course, it's best cooked the day before. Like we were saying, with the coffee, it's very intense. And I mean, you can dilute it in water or some other kind of liquid before adding it to your recipe. It's hard for me to say exactly how to do that because I don't, you know, it totally depends on the recipe. For sauces, marinades, things like that, where you want an intensity, I wouldn't dilute it at all. But for something like in baking, maybe you would want to dilute it. But I think it's about, is it a half teaspoon, I believe, of extract per cup of water to equal like sort of a cup of coffee flavor. And now with the green tea, is that right? I think so. Okay, and I mean, try it. You'll know when you try it. With the green tea, it's much more delicate, and that's good and bad. The good part is it won't, you know, bash you over the head. The bad part is you can, it can be so delicate that it's overlooked. So you have to be careful about, with the green tea, about the flavors that you add with it to make whatever you're going to make. The complementary flavors need to also be delicate so it doesn't overpower it. But again, you can do the layers of flavors. And I'm going to demonstrate a drink. So this drink is called a green martini, tea spelled T-E-A. And, you know, as hokey as that sounds, it's a kind of a cute little name that the judges will pay attention to. A play on words type of thing. And it's very easy. Where's my shake? Here's my shaker. But like frozen drinks are great, non-alcoholic drinks. I mean, I could see doing maybe a peach tea or, you know, thinking southern kind of things, things that North Carolina are known for. And there actually is a really good rum that's made here in North Carolina that I started fooling around with to make a drink, and it didn't go in that direction in the end. But I think using something that's made here, North Carolina's not known for its rum, but because it's manufactured here, I think would get you some points. Okay, so I'm going to start with the green tea extract. And like I said, this is a lot more delicate than the coffee. So I'm going to put in about a tablespoon. And then an ounce of vodka. And an ounce of Cointreau, which is triple sec. It's got really nice flavor. And all of these, the reason I paired the green tea, like I said, I started with the rum, but it kind of overpowered the green tea. So vodka is sort of like the tofu of hard alcohol. You know, it has not a lot of flavor itself. It just kind of takes on the flavors you put with it. So this was a good one to put with the green tea. So this is an agave simple syrup. If you ever make simple syrup, you know, it's the sugar water, melt it down. If you use agave, equal parts agave and water, and just, you don't have to heat it or anything, just mix it together. It's a really nice simple syrup. It's very easy to make. And it has the, you know, agave is also a very trendy ingredient right now. And then freshly squeezed lemon juice. And of course, this could be garnished with powdered sugar or a slice of lemon, or it can just be served straight up. So it's a classic martini along the lines of like a cosmopolitan. It's got more flavor in it than just a straight up martini. But it takes on that pretty sort of greenish hue. It's nice and chilled. Do you want to be my taster? Whoa. So, just a little green tea. It's a boozy drink.
It's not as boozy as I thought it would be.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
It is good. It's just a mellow, I mean, it's not like taking a shot, but it is a martini.
Yeah.
So, it's...
I like it.
Yeah, thank you. Some other ways to use the green tea extract, I don't know if someone did this or this is just me thinking of it. Ice cream, of course, green tea ice cream. It'd be an easy way to do it. You can go so many different ways. You could do like a poached duck breast with the green tea extract, so of course diluted, but then make a nice sauce with the green tea extract also, so when it comes out, you know, you do just a nice sauce. I mean, it lends itself to Asian cuisines, but not completely. I mean, it's open to lots of different interpretations. These extracts are just such a joy to work with. I mean, and the coffee is great too, but because it's dry, it sort of limits what you can do with the extracts. I feel like you can go in any direction. You can go in wet applications, dry applications. You can just do, you know, really anything. And don't be afraid to push the envelope. And you know, you can. Like I'm saying, layers. So you could use the coffee as a very subtle umami flavor and then hit it again with the coffee in a different, more bold flavor. Just keep layering it up. And the more the judges see it in the recipes, the more they're going to pay attention. But then don't go too overboard.